Morning, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday, April 12th, 2023 meeting of the Lake Havasu City Board of Adjustments. Please rise and join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Donald Bergen. Kate McCullough. Present. Kevin Casey. Here. Michael Gordon. Robin Hill. Present. Jim Harris.
Here.
Todd Rounds.
Okay. Minutes of the last meeting. Are there any adjustments, additions, deletions, corrections? Hearing none by board members, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Mr. Casey?
Motion approved.
And we need a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion to approve by Mr. Casey and a second by Ms. Hill to approve the minutes of the last meeting. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's call for the question.
Ms. McCullough.
A request.
No.
Oh, no.
This is just we're voting on the motion to approve the minutes.
Approve the minutes. I approve.
Okay.
Robin Hill.
Approved.
Jim Harris.
Yes.
And Kevin Casey.
Yeah.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay. Any correspondence and announcements?
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, thank you very much. Yes, we do. Mr. Toomey has resigned his position on the Board of Adjustment, so he's no longer with the board. And then we have 2 terms that are expiring at the end of June. That'd be Ms. McCullough and Ms. Hill. So your terms are expiring. If you'd like to be reappointed or like to reapply, please contact the city clerk's office in the next month or so and get your application in, and so we can get you on the panel to possibly be reappointed.
Typically, because even though we are members, we still have to go through the process of the application and formal request in writing.
Correct. Yes.
But we would love to have you guys back.
Yes, this is an important board. I know you don't meet all that frequently, but when you do, it's important matter, so we really appreciate your service.
And welcome, Mr. Gordon.
Sorry, I'm late.
That's okay.
That concludes staff's correspondence. Thank you.
Okay. Let me start by saying this is a public hearing and there's a structured order to this proceeding. City staff will present the item. There will be time for the board to ask questions of staff, and then the applicant will have the opportunity to present their case to the board. That being done, we'll then open the proceeding to the public for their questions and input. I would ask that anyone in the public that wishes to speak limit their trips to the podium and microphone to one only. Keep all comments to less than 3 minutes, and to stay on point and not discuss subject matter that is not being considered here today. After public testimony is taken, I will then close the public hearing and bring the motion back to the table for city staff's recommendation, discussion amongst the board, and eventually a motion to approve or disapprove. The first and only item on today's agenda is item number 23-013-00009. This is a request for 3361 Eldorado Avenue North, Tract 123, Block 1, Lot 19, for a major variance from Development Code Section 14.04.01, Table 4.01-1, dimensional standards for residential districts to allow a 2.5-foot encroachment into the required 20-foot front yard setback for the side of a detached garage in the single-family residential R1 district. Mr. Morris, your presentation.
Mr. Chairman and board members, thank you so much. The subject property is located on the north side of Eldorado Avenue between Dolphin Drive and Lancer Lane. This lot and the other lots in the immediate neighborhood are zoned single-family residential R1 and developed with a mix of single-family homes and vacant lots. As a four-sided lot, The property has the following setbacks. In the front, it's a 20-foot setback for the home or the side of a garage, and 25-foot for a garage front facing the street. The sides, the left side is 5 feet, the right side is 10 feet because there's a public utility easement on the right side, and the rear is 20 feet. And of course, setbacks are all measured from the property line. Here's the site plan. The property currently has a home with an attached garage. The applicant submitted a request for a new detached garage on the subject property, shown outlined in red near the bottom of the site plan here. We're going to zoom in a little bit on this site plan now. The side of this garage will be 20 feet from the front property line, with only the corners encroaching into the 20-foot front setback. The rest of the garage will meet the 20-foot setback requirement. Again, this variance is for a 2.5-foot encroachment into the required 20-foot front yard setback, just for the two ends of this proposed garage. They're shown highlighted here in yellow on the site plan. This property has a unique shape with a long curve along the front property line. The vast majority of R1 lots in this area have straight front property lines, making this a unique lot, thus causing the hardship. A major variance is required in this situation because the request exceeds a 10% reduction, which would have been 2 feet, which is allowed to be approved possibly by a minor variance. So this is being, since it's more than 2 foot of an encroachment, it has to go to the Board of Adjustment. Staff supports the major variance request, and that concludes this presentation. Open any questions you may have. The applicant is also in the audience. Thank you.
Are there any questions of staff by board members? Anybody at all? Okay, hearing none. Is the applicant present? Would you like to make a presentation? You don't have to, but you're more than welcome to. Please come to the podium and state your name for the record.
Thank you, Board. Tim Davis. So I've been working with this gentleman for a little while, and he's just trying to come up with a way to get his garage. He's on one of these big hillside type lots. We looked at different options, and the challenge is trying to get that bathroom, and he needed the width of the door for his RV. So that's what kind of the 6 inches makes or breaks being able to put that bathroom in. So that's
okay. Any questions of the applicant? Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Appreciate it. All right, this is a public hearing. If there's anybody in the audience that wishes to speak on this matter whatsoever, now is the time. We are open to public comment. Seeing none, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing portion of this item and bring it back to the table for staff's recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, board members, thank you much. Staff finds that the property has a unique shape. Its long curved front property line is not typical when compared to the vast majority of R1 zone lots in this area, thus causing the hardship. Staff finds that special circumstances create an unnecessary hardship, which is not the result of actions of the applicant or self-imposed by the property owner. Staff finds that approving the proposed variance would not constitute a granting of special privileges inconsistent with the limitations on other properties in the vicinity and zoning district in which the subject property is located. Staff additionally finds that approving the proposed variance would not be materially detrimental to the public convenience, health, interest, safety, or welfare of the city, or injurious to the property or improvements in the vicinity and zoning district in which the property is located. Based on the findings, staff recommends that Land Use Action 23-013-00009 for 3361 El Dorado Avenue North, Tract 123, Block 1, Lot 19, for a major variance from the Development Code Section 140401, Table 4.01-1, Dimensional Standards for Residential Districts, to allow a 2.5-foot encroachment into the required 20-foot front yard setback for the side of a detached garage in the single-family residential R1 district be approved with the following conditions. 1, the development shall match the site plan submitted with the request, and 2, any changes to the site plan shall require additional review and approval. Thank you.
Okay, are there any questions of staff on this item from board members? Mr. Gordon.
Yeah, Mr. Morris. Is the
You're still not on.
There we go. Thank you.
We're referring this to the 20-foot house setback line, not the garage setback line, because there's no garage door facing the street. Is that correct?
That's correct. The setback from the front property line is 20 feet for the house or the side of a garage. If the garage door was facing the street, then it would be a 25-foot setback.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions of staff by board members? All right, hearing none, we are at the table for discussion and or a motion. I think the city staff's recommendation on this is quite accurate, and any impact would be negligible. Anybody? Mr. Gordon? Ms. Hill?
May I
Go ahead.
move? I move that the land used action 23-013000009 for 3361 El Dorado Avenue North, Tract 123, Block 1, Lot 19, for a major variance from Development Code Section 14.04.01, Table 4.01-1, Dimensional Standards for Residential Districts, to allow a 2.5-foot encroachment into the required 20-foot front yard setback for the side of a detached garage in the single-family residential R1 district is approved with the following conditions. 1, the development shall match the site plan submitted with the request. And 2, any changes to the site plan shall require additional review and approval.
Second.
We have a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Ms. Hill and a second by Mr. Gordon on this land use action 23-1300009 with staff's recommendations. Any further discussion on the item? Okay, let's call for the question.
Kate McCullough.
Approve.
Kevin Casey.
Approve.
Michael Gordon.
Yes.
Robin Hill.
Yes.
Jim Harris.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Congratulations and good luck. All right. Looking for my agenda here. This is the point. There are no further items on the agenda. This is the point in the meeting where we call to the public. If there's anybody in the audience who wishes to speak to the board on any subject whatsoever, now's the time to do it. We may not respond, but you may address the board. Seeing nobody for the call to the public, I'll go ahead and close that portion of the meeting. Future meetings, Mr. Morris.
Mr. Chairman and board members, thank you much. We don't have anything scheduled at this point. We will alert you as when the next Board of Adjustment meeting needs to be met. So thank you for your service again. And remember those terms are expiring. If you'd like to be reappointed, please submit
please
an
reapply
application to the city clerk's office. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody. We stand adjourned.